Okay, thank you for joining us today for the September Coffee and Conversation topic, which is all about Formstack. Today, we'll provide an overview of Formstack generally and how to use it at CAIANH. We'll also discuss when to use Formstack, how to access it, and go over a few practice scenarios. So, what is Formstack? Formstack is an online platform to collect information in a format that's user-friendly by asking people to enter information into a form instead of something like a spreadsheet. Formstack has a lot of functionality, but at CAIANH, we primarily use Formstack to upload, collect information and documents that for a specific special request. CAIANH Fiscal then uses that information to make necessary department and university approvals. We can also use Formstack to share a lot of information back with CAIANH folks about various fiscal processes and university processes, and also use it as a decision tree, which is helpful in deciding which form or which type of approval you might need.
So what do we love about Formstack and why do we use it? It makes it so easy for us to collect a lot of information at one time instead of a back and forth email with you all. It also helps us store information all together to reference it, both for while we're doing the setup, but also in the case of an audit or a situation where we need backup information. It ensures that we have all the information so we can do the work and get that task done right away. And as I said, it minimizes the back and forth emails. In some of the cases, there are expenses that need to be approved, so it makes it easy for our team to review and approve those tasks. And because we have a team model for the fiscal team, it makes it so that we can all share these tasks and distribute them easily within our inbox, and so that we can keep moving the tasks forward even if one of us is out. And it also automates a lot of answers to the questions that we get often as a team, so we're not spending a lot of time answering emails to frequently asked questions.
When should you use Formstack? You should use Formstack for everything that you do at CAIANH. For example, if you are purchasing something, use Formstack. If you're traveling, you should use Formstack. Are you going to plan an event? Are you going to host a conference in Denver or in another city? Use Formstack. Do you need to hire a consultant? Formstack. Do you need to pay a consultant? Formstack. And if you need a PRA or a student worker for your project, of course, Formstack. Do you need to process a non-employee reimbursement? Use Formstack. And last, do you need to buy gift cards? Formstack. Pretty much everything you do in CAIANH, you need Formstack.
So just to reiterate one more time, you should almost always use Formstack. So if you have a question that you think that the CAIANH fiscal team can answer, try Formstack first, because even if you don't end up submitting something, it'll get you to the answer of your question. We're also always changing this and expanding it to be more useful. So it's really for you, and we're trying to make it as streamlined as possible to get the answers to your questions. And remember that it's not just forms. There's also a lot of pure information on there. So if you have a question, you can go on and there's some tables and things that'll just give you those answers.
Okay, so important question is how do you access Formstack? We've tried to make this as easy as possible for everybody by putting it on the CAIANH intranet homepage. So you can navigate to the CAIANH intranet site and click on this button here, CAIANH Formstack landing page. And this takes you to the root FormStack for all of the forms within CAIANH. So you can use this form to decide if you have a grant or fiscal management need, if you have a human resources need, if you have a travel and events need.
Great, so we wanted to take some time to go through those three categories. So as Erin showed, the home page is going to have the CAIANH travel and events, and that's where you would go to get all travel approvals for non-employees and employees. You get your official function form to fill out and submit to our team, and you can set up a meeting to discuss and do an intake meeting for an event that you have coming up. Then the CAIANH Human Resources, which is new and it's still under development, but right now you can use it to put in a new hire request. And in the future, we will have additional forms for promotions, professional development, and onboarding. And then the meat of the form stack is under that CAIANH fiscal button. And you can use that section to pay people, to do gift card programs, purchase supplies, set up request subcontracts, and request honorarium. And just a few key things. So for the procurement section, this is where you go to buy services, buy supplies, set up gift cards, start a contract, set up scopes of work. And then there's grant management, which we're definitely growing. So like I mentioned, the subcontracts, and we're going to add on a request for no cost extension and a request for a carry forward request. And then there's a lot of information about whether or not purchases are allowed on grants. So that's a big section where it's important to just click through and it'll tell you if this is a sensitive expense or not. So that is a very important resource. And we've recently done a lot of work for improving the flow of the contracts and the consultants. So that is often a very complicated procurement task. So make sure to go through that slowly to get to exactly what you need to set up a contract.
You submitted a form stack request, now what? One of the things that we see is people follow up with an email after they fill out the form stack. Please don't follow up with an email. You will receive a confirmation email with the information that you submitted. Another thing that we request is that you give us at least 2 business days to respond. And we've seen this. If you make a mistake, we may have you fill out the form again. It's just so that we have a clean record of what's going on in the form stack. And last, we ask that you keep your approval email and attach it to your Concur report, especially if you're submitting reimbursement for travel or non-employees. Always keep your emails and attach those to your reports. If when you're doing your Concur report, sometimes we get the question that says, it's already approved in FormStack, why do I need to attach it again? It's because it's not for us. Once you submit your Concur report, or once we submit the Concur reports, it goes to other people who have no clue what's going on. So having that paper trail is awesome, and we use it for things like audit purposes as well.
Great, so here we have 5 different scenarios for how you can use the form stack. And we'll just go through these briefly just to show that all these questions, all these situations can be solved through FormStack. So the first is you have a hotel contract that will cost $55,000. So that would be under that CAIANH fiscal tab, and you would go through and answer all the specifics about your contract. So the next one is you have a community advisory board and you need to set up as consultants. So this is also, you go in and you say that you have services, and then you can request through a roster by uploading an Excel form, all of the different advisory board members that you need to set up as consultants. And then the next one, you need to purchase something that is not usually allowable on sponsored projects. So this is an important part of Formstack, where if you click through and it's something like candy for a activity, you it'll prompt you to fill out a like a sensitive expense form, and then we can review that and approve it, so then you can go and purchase it, and we have that on record. So if we get audited, then we can say, oh, we approved this and there's a specific reason for why we purchased this sensitive expense. So the next one, you're planning a trip that combines business and personal travel and need to get approval. So this would be in the travel and events section of the Formstack, and you are able to put in all these details about your trip. And let's say you fill out the Formstack, you get approval, but then your plans change. You're able to just respond to the email there. We won't have you refill out a form, but we have that all in our inbox from the Formstack form. And then the last one, which is an important thing that we get a lot, and so you need to buy a new monitor for your employees. So you should never be buying your own tech. We always have our IT manager buy the tech. So you use the Formstack to make that request, and then we review the funding source for that request and if it's allowable, and then we pass it on to HIP in order to make that purchase. So make sure, not just with tech, like you should never buy anything before going to the Formstack. And then just a key with all of these different scenarios and examples with Formstack is you might feel like we're asking a lot of questions and asking you to answer, a lot of things, but it's mostly because we're just copying forms from what the university requires of us. So if there's a question there, it means that we absolutely need that information to submit the request or to do the task for you on our end.
Okay, we want to thank you for watching the video playback of this coffee and conversation all about Formstack. If you have additional questions about Formstack or other fiscal items within CAIANH, please don't hesitate to reach out to caianh.fiscal@ucdenver.edu. As a reminder, Coffee and Conversation is a monthly in-person and virtual event that we have through April of 2025 on a variety of topics that we hope will be helpful for all CAIANH employees, and we hope to see you at the next event.